You've probably heard that Finland was selected as the happiest country in the world for the 9th time in a row this year, in 2026. But why is that? I'm Heidi, and I'm gonna tell you why Finland is the happiest country in the world, and also my personal opinion on that claim. We're gonna see what are the bases for this claim and whether this is accurate or not. Let's get started. So, Finland has been selected the happiest country in the world 9th time in a row. And are Finns really happy? Or is this something else entirely? What this happiness ranking actually is? Well, it's good to know that the ranking comes from the World Happiness Report, which is measuring different factors, but it does not measure daily happiness as such. And it has nothing to do with whether people are smiling a lot or whether they feel excited or show excitement in their life. It does measure life satisfaction and trust in society and stability and security in the country. But how is happiness actually measured? Happiness is something very personal, something very subjective, and in this questionnaire, people are asked stuff like, how satisfied are you with your life overall? So people actually have to think about their life as a whole, not necessarily whether they feel happy at that moment or not. It's not about emotions, it's more about stability and about how predictable life feels. But the reason number one why Finland has been ranked as the happiest country in the world for so long is that we have a very strong social system. We have free or affordable education. The primary school and secondary school are completely free of charge, and also at least at the moment, also our high school and vocational schools are free of charge as well for Finns. Then if you come from outside of the EU, you normally have to pay for your studies. And I actually have made another video about how to study in Finland, and if you're interested in that topic, you can check it out. I will leave it up there. We also have very affordable public healthcare system, which makes it basically possible for everybody to take care of their health. And as you know, health is a very important factor. If we are not in good health, it's much more likely that we are not so happy. It's way easier to be happy when you are in good health. Also, in case that life doesn't treat you always that well, we have social security support that helps in those cases. We have crisis lines where you can call. We have public healthcare that's taking care of also mental issues. And if you are struggling with mental health, you can get counseling. Also, if you are struggling with money, you might have some social aids in case you have very little or no income otherwise. Reason number two is trust. In general, Finns trust the government quite a lot and the institutions such as the police and other public institutions. We also, in general, trust each other quite a lot. We do not have high amounts of thefts or pickpockets or other petty crimes. And normally people might even leave their, stuff a little bit too much unguarded because we are so familiar with the feeling of safety that when we go abroad, we actually have to consciously think about taking more care of our belongings than what we would have to do at home, because there are many cities in which there are way more pickpockets, and you have to be aware of your belongings at all times. That's not to say that people don't do it in Finland. If you forget your wallet somewhere, it's even quite likely that you will get it back, which is unfortunately not the case everywhere. Actually, my first summer job was working at an ice cream bar. And I still remember that there was one client who just forgot their wallet on top of the table and nobody touched it. I noticed it also pretty quickly. And then I contacted my employer, like, what should we do? Should we contact the police? Should we contact the person directly? Or what should we do about this wallet? And eventually we're able to solve it out and give it back to the person, because of course they left their personal information there and we could find out easily who the person was. But nobody who was passing by grabbed the wallet. Also, the corruption is pretty low and the systems generally work pretty well in Finland. Of course, we also have some issues, like every country does, but generally speaking, the systems tend to work pretty well. Reason number 3, nature and space. In Finland, we have a lot of clean environment and we honor the nature and keeping it clean. We have access to forests and lakes nearly all around us. We have forests even near cities or inside the cities. So even if you live in the capital, in Helsinki, you still can go to forests pretty fast. Even in some areas in Helsinki, you have forest nearly next door. And also Finland is called the country of thousands of lakes because we have so many of them, and many people have their own summer cottage where they go to spend time in the nature, and quite often those are located near lakes. We have low population density, which makes it also easier to access these natural areas and to have moments when you have literally nobody around you and you can just completely relax. You do not have to worry about the buzz and the noises of big cities. And it's way easier to disconnect and recover mentally when you are closer to nature and when you don't have so many people around you. Also, I think that also the fact that we have so much space around us actually makes the competition a bit less, because when there are a lot of people and you have to be literally nearly fight for your own space and possibilities of living, having your own physical space, it's stressful, right? We don't really have that problem. Low inequality. In Finland, we have smaller income gaps than in many countries, and we have a taxing system which is also benefiting this, because we tax those who are earning higher incomes proportionally more than those who are earning little. This allows our country to maintain good social security systems and also to make sure that everybody has enough means for living, and we have very few homeless people. Normally everybody can make their ends meet to be able to live a decent life. Finland also has more equal opportunities thanks to free education for all children. It doesn't matter, even if you had poor parents, you could raise socially and economically thanks to your studies. You do not depend only on your parents. Moreover, we also have pretty good gender equality, and sexual minorities' rights are among the best ones in the world. Thanks to the emphasis on equality in Finland, everybody can enjoy happiness and normal life regardless of what minority they belong to. This also amounts to less comparison and social pressure. If you would love to see a more personal take on what I love about Finland, you can check out my other video that I will leave up there and in the description after this one. However, regardless of all these positive traits that we have in Finland, Finland also has many problems, and we cannot forget about this when we are thinking about how happy people actually are in Finland. Because in a way, this kind of study that claims that Finland is the happiest country in the world may give you a bit too optimistic idea on what is actually real in Finland, and it might give you an idea that everybody is happy all the time, which is not true. Finland also has long dark winters, which even may affect people's mental health. It has been researched that the lack of light increases depression. And we also have quite a lot of people who feel lonely and are isolated. Finland is a very individualistic country, and we have a very individualistic culture, which is very positive in other ways. For example, everybody can live the way they like, and we do not have so much social pressure from our parents or from our family as in some other countries we might have if we are a little bit different. If we want to make different choices in our lives, we have more options, I would say. However, it has another side of the coin, as we say in Finland. It also can lead to more loneliness and isolation, and the support nets are not as strong as in many other cultures, because people might not see their relatives as much, they might not speak to their parents as often, etc. According to one study, there are about 66% of women and about 60% of men who receive a mental health diagnosis in their lifetime. And this does not include people who are suffering from dementia, for example. All right, it's during their lifetime, it's quite normal that at some point of your life you might have some mental health issues, right? It doesn't mean that you are depressed all the time. However, it means that most people in their lifetime have some mental health issues, which is quite a lot. One reason for this might be that in Finland, we also are investigating this topic quite a lot. People have lower threshold for seeking help, and that is actually positive. People don't necessarily wait until it's too late or until they are already in a very terrible condition. No, people can seek for help even before that, and mental health issues are often detected, luckily, before they get very severe. But of course, not all of the mental health issues are ever even diagnosed, so probably the real amount of people who are struggling with mental health at some point of their lives is even way higher than this. As a summary, although Finland is the happiest country in the world, so to say, daily life can still feel heavy to many Finns. Something I want to talk about is also onnellisuus versus tyytyväisyys. These are Finnish words for happiness versus satisfaction. In many countries, happiness means excitement, joy, and expression, whereas in Finland, happiness often can mean that life is peaceful, you have stability in your life, and you are not having major problems. In other words, we use quite a lot the word tyytyväinen, satisfied. So many Finns can be actually satisfied in their lives, and maybe they are answering in this questionnaire also as if they are really happy, whereas in other cultures, the Finnish happiness might be seen simply as satisfaction, not as happiness. So there might be this cultural aspect as well compared to what is happiness. Maybe there should be a little bit better term to describe this whole study. Instead of calling it happiness study or marketing it as happiness study or the happiest country in the world, This study should be most likely more something like a study on general satisfaction in life, because that's actually what it is measuring. And also, maybe we could say that Finland is the most satisfied country in the world, instead of saying that Finland is the happiest country in the world. The whole study is less about being happy and more about not being constantly stressed or afraid. Do you think that Finland has earned its place as the happiest country in the world? Why or why not? Let me know your answers and reasons in the comments. If you like this, remember to let YouTube know as well, so it can bring this video to more people. And share this with someone who you think might enjoy this as well. As always, thanks for watching. Moi moi! Bye!